All right, hey there guys, here with a duck profile for you. It is Punk, Spright, Brave. Took it to locals, won a little box tournament that happened there. That was fun. I'll open this later. Unimportant though. This deck is really interesting. It's mostly net decked, almost entirely. I would say that this is basically just Charlie Futch's list, and I'm just showing it off a little bit, along with some minor adjustments that I made. For context, Charlie Futch took a Punk, Spright, Brave list to a couple regionals. Been doing really well with them. He got first at one, third at another. I'm sure the other performances are just as great. The first week or so I looked at this list, it was really jarring. I did not understand how it worked, and I could not figure out how to pilot it. I'm not gonna lie. I've played a lot of pile decks, but this one wasn't as intuitive to me. So really me taking it to locals and getting this box was more so me testing it to figure out how all of this works. And now I have a chance to show you how cool of a deck this is, because it's actually insane deck building. I like it a lot. As some of you might know, Artifact Scythe is one of my favorite cards, and this deck is really good at putting it out. Alright, so first I'm going to flash the deck profile right here in case anybody wants it, but besides that, let's get straight into it. First card of the deck, very clearly, is going to be Artifact Scythe. This card is a homie, this card is your win condition, and the rest of the deck really does build around making this resolve on your opponent's turn. That means we're doing a lot of things to set the Scythe or get it engrave, but we're trying to make it resilient too. So it's not just like a straight Scythe, because if it was straight Scythe, it would just be Sanctum or something like that. It's a Scythe that is in some capacity supported by Omnis, whether that's a Baron, a Griffin, or like red or Carrot to help protect it, right? 3 Prosperity. This is a very piley deck. That means it plays a lot of 1-card power spells that help you play the game. If you do not have a power spell, you play Prosperity. Can banish for 6 in this deck in an attempt to find one. But if you already have one, you are finding a second card to pair with it. Because if you have 2 openers in your starting hand going first, you pretty much win the game. The first engine of the deck is one that you guys should be very familiar with. We're playing 3 Right, 3 Enchantress, Foolish, Dracoback, Fateful, and Griffin. 3 cards that you don't really want to see in hand, but 2 of these are extenders, so you don't care. And then you have 7 copies of Right. Foolish comes up in other cases too. Overall, great cards. This is one of the power spells in the deck that isn't necessarily a true starter, because it doesn't go full combo. I think there are almost no decks that full combo off of Right, but Right plus a body is full combo because you can get to Helk, like saying the body's a tuner. Alternatively, Right plus E-Telly, Right plus starter is also insane. You pretty much win the game. And that is 7 copies of cards that make your opening overwhelming for most opponents. All right, next up, we've got a very small package. We've got 3 E-Telly, we've got the 1 Foxy, 1 Xiamen, and the 1 Deer Note. You don't really need much more than these because, again, we aren't trying to see them. You don't want a normal Xiamen because it conflicts with Right. Foxy Tune is rather expensive if you didn't get it off a search, so we're just playing the 1/1/1. We have the E-Telly. These can potentially go into Gamma, but overall, this is my favorite package in the deck because it is one of the highest ceiling combos out of 1 card. E-Telly is definitely the strongest 1-card starter in this deck because it is what gets you into your Baron line, which I'll show off better later in another video. I'll show combo lines and stuff, but the point is that this is the card that you want to see. If you Prosperity, the card you're looking for is usually E-Telly if you don't already have it. Speaking of starters, we have triple starter: blue, jet, carrot, red. That's it. These are all the sprites you need. When I first looked at this lineup of 1/1/1 in Charlie's list, I thought he was insane. I thought there's no way this functions. I thought, how do you see these? I thought, how do you Chaos Ruler mill to get them? And then in his second list, he cut the Chaos Ruler, and then it finally made sense that the sprite engine is actually consistent because of how well you make Gigantic and are still able to continue playing the game. These starters are very nice just because after your E-Telly gets stopped, after your line gets shut down for some reason, you still have start at the end and you just go insane. You always have to anchor your play with a starter, but that's fine. It's not really a complaint. But the other end of it is that even if you don't see starter, you end up making Gigantic with Helk and Plague, and then you summon the blue, and then you get to Jet, and then you get to the starter anyway, so you feel pretty good about it. One thing that comes up though is that after you've done your full line, if you already had a starter, the second to third starter can end up being dead depending on what you opened, but we don't really mind that because they just become pitches for Plague Spreader, or for Fateful, or for anything else in your deck that is like requiring a resource, which is fine. And then another MVP of the deck, we have triple Plague Spreader. This card is an amazing pitch, this card is the best normal summon, and this card is full combo because it individually makes Helky Fibrax, which is crazy because you normal Plague, go Almirage, effect Plague Engrave, resummon itself, make Helk, summon another Plague, and now you have a line into making Gigantic that puts Helk Engrave, which is relevant because there are situations where you can elf target Helk on your opponent's turn to start your side lock. Crazy card. Charlie played 2. I picked a 3rd because I wanted to be a little bit more consistent and realized that I was adding a couple brickier things to my deck as I adjusted the hand trap lineup. I never regret seeing this card in my opening hand. All right, so hand traps, next part here. We play 3 Gamma, the driver to accompany it. We play 3 Veiler. We play 3 Imperm. And then we play the 3 Nibiru. This is a bit of a different lineup. Originally, I was actually playing Ash and Crow in this list. I think that makes a lot of sense. But I felt like Ash was not as impactful as I wanted it to be. And I felt like I actually wanted Nibiru over the Crow in this case, because what I really wanted was Nibiru to pair with these. And that was the goal in this specific case. I'll say I was losing a lot to triple tack, so I wanted higher impact hand traps that hit later, because I would do something like Ash or Veiler too early into Spright boards when I was first testing this deck. And then I'd get triple tacked and I'd lose lose the game. Felt terrible. So I'm done losing triple attack, and I just want higher impact. Gamma goes insane. Right, of course, it just crushes stuff like Gigantic. Imperm doesn't get affected by triple attack. We still play Valor because it pairs well with Nibiru, helps you play Celine, and is also a tuner. Valor's stat line has always been insane, despite being one of the not so great hand traps in the game. And then the rest of the cards in main, we're going to have a Called By, broken card. And then I guess the only real spice that exists in this deck, from my perspective, is I put in 3 Ultimate Slayer and then a Kisa kill. There are too many Spright players at my locals, and I kept losing die roll for like the longest time. So I was like, screw it, I'm just putting a card in for going second, because I feel like my going first win rate is so high that I'm perfectly fine. I really want more cards for going second that put me back in the game. That's why I ended up playing Slayer to break Spright and or tier boards. Then I also played the Nibiru. Alright, now let's do extra deck. First off, with Lynx, we have the El Mirage. Again, this card combos, it goes crazy. We have the 2 elves. Second elf definitely comes up in this deck. We have the Hulk. We have an access code package. We play the Dagda. And we play a Trouble Sunny specifically as a Slayer target. I don't have a whole bunch to say about this. You very clearly have cards that you use for combo. Going first for OTK, and then you have this for Slayer. Only 2 Exceeds you play are 2 Gigantic. Second Gigantic doesn't come up that often, but it's nice to have over an actual flex spot in this deck, I think, because what ends up happening is first Gigantic is for combo. Second Gigantic doesn't get you into more Sprites or very often more Plague, but it ends up being a 3200 body, which is a very nice number to have. If that doesn't come up, this is just the prosp throwaway usually. I'll throw away like this, I'll throw away El Mirage, and then the third card is just like some other random card based on the matchup, of course. Synchros, Wonder Magician, Baron, they facilitate Scythelock, they go insane. Wonder Magician has been one of my favorite cards since I started playing Punk Synchro. Insane that it both pops Scythe and makes Baron. Last 2 cards in extra, Muddragon and Garura. This is because I said Super Poly, and then this is both for Super Poly and for Slayer. Alright, now side deck real quick. Triple Sanctum, Triple Super Poly, Triple Dark Ruler, Triple Evenly, Triple Twin Twister. This is quite a bit different from Charlie's list. I played Twin over Lightning Storm first off because I was trying to out things like Rivalry and Mystic Mine, and I think this is significantly better at dealing with that than Lightning Storm is, because those are cards that get flipped up after you started playing the game, and it's very difficult to flip your stuff face down after the fact. So Twin Twister ends up being pretty nice. It did come up. And then I still played the Sanctum, but I ended up cutting the Trap Trick, because what I felt like was that if I did something along the lines of Prosperiting and then I saw a Trap Trick or I saw combo, I actually preferred taking the combo because I felt like my line was so resilient and actually put up a board. Yeah, so we're still on the Sanctum. I don't know how I feel about this. Super Poly, love this card. I prefer setting in going first personally because it helps interrupt Spright while they're playing, and it helps interrupt tier when they don't have tiers on board. And then going second cards, Dark Ruler, broken card. Again, I think that double hand trap might actually be like a bit of a fever dream in this format. Dark Ruler just puts you in, evenly just puts you in, completely destroys the current end boards of the format, so I'm okay with playing them. But yeah, that is the whole list. Thanks for checking it out. The list isn't all that intuitive though, so I will be posting some combo lines later this week. Besides that, shout outs to Charlie Futch. He does coaching.